Good morning, Mr. Matthew. My name is Gabriel Koay Ke-Wei, student ID 20009684, here to present about my code on Mastermind from the module CSC 1024 Programming Principles. Starting off with the introduction, for the description is Mastermind is a cool code breaking board game where the objective for the game is for the player to guess four random colors in four different positions correctly. My objective for this project is to recreate this board game using the Python language. The limitations are that I'm only allowed to import random library and I have to apply all the information I have learned on the module CSC 1024, which is Programming Principles. How user inputs were used within this code was that I would allow the user to input their answers using user input 1, input 2, input 3, and input 4. With certain conditions, they will be allowed to apply their colors using the first letter of the word. Moving on to list and random choice, how the list was used was that I created a list for random colors as well as the colors that the user are allowed to use. So as you can see here, master color is the list for the randoms color that will be produced, and user color is the list used for the user to input. I also used random choice, which allowed me to give a random color to each variable. So random color 1 will have its own color from the master color list. This is how it will work. It will select all of the colors available here, and it will give it to random color 1, and then they give it to random color 2, 3, and 4. Moving on, we have the if statements, relational and logical operations. To the left here, this logical operation stops the user from inputting anything else but from the previous list that I've mentioned. So if they were to input anything else, it will say invalid, and they have to input everything again from user input 1. So when they put valid answers until user input 3, and then they put something invalid on user input 4, they would have to restart it from user input 1 so that they wouldn't do it again. On my right is the check the user's input if it matches the random color. So if I want to check if this is how the game will work. If he gets the correct answer, if not, he will have to do it again. And here you can see the variables correct answer, incorrect position, and incorrect answer. These variables will help me in making the logical operations function. And this is continuing with the second input, third input, and the fourth input. This here is the first input on how it will go down. Everything else is the same, but for all different inputs, one by one. And here are the given results of the user's input. So if an incorrect answer equals to 1, then I would print and say you have one wrong color, and bring him back to the answering board. And to the right is there's the end game where you win and you can exit. I've also used while loops in this. How I used it is, if the user is unable to guess the correct color, the while loop will bring it back for them to guess again until they get everything correct. Here's how it works. Start from the start, goes to the game. Then if it's incorrect, it'll loop it back to the game. And then if it's correct, it will win and then end the game. How I use user-defined functions is the user input, as I explained before, the user input will allow them to enter their answer, and then from there they can answer until they get it correct. And finally, I have the exit game to make sure that the user knows that the game is going to end now instead of ending abruptly. I decided to let them know that I am ending the game, and I want them to type something so they they actively know that the game has ended. This is it for my slides presentation. I will now show you how the game works. This is my code. I've been using Visual Studio to edit this Python code. So let's start. Starting with the run, it welcomes you to the game, shows you the rules and the color listed that we are able to use. So first of all, we have RWPB. So if I wanted to have two wrong positions, WRPB, then it says I have two in the wrong position. If I gave myself all the wrong colors, and then three wrong colors, but B is correct. So if I want the correct answer, RWPB. And that is how the code works, and it shows you have three tries, and then exit the game, you press enter or anything else. Thank you for watching this presentation of mine. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.